राशन खत्म हो रहा है भाई।
रुक तो तू रह कहाँ रहा है अभी?
Hi Abhishek, hi Ishwak, how have you been?
Hi,
Good.
hi. Good, good, good.
To start with, I want to ask what the lockdown has been like for you because that is a very strong theme in Unpaused.
I think the pause is because it's taught us a lot of things. I think lockdown for me is a teacher, you know, and sometimes it was harsh on us. It gave us small little punishments also, but lots of homework, literally. And it taught us to live, the way life should be and not the way we were doing it. And I think we were completely on a very wrong track. And I don't know how many people have realized that or not. But the whole race, the way, things were so fast and there was no time for yourself, forget about others. खुद के लिए वक्त नहीं था. So and this is like, a generic thing that everybody was in that rat race. I think lockdown gave us that time to, sit, relax and think about it. I mean, थोड़ा सा एनालाइज करने का टाइम दिया, ये समझने का टाइम दिया कि हम जिन चीजों के पीछे भाग रहे हैं, the things we're running after, is it even important? Yeah, I think so. It has been a life lesson in a way. The conversations which we used to not have with ourselves, I think we started having after this lockdown. That's why everybody wants to now move out of the city or go out and go on a vacation. Goa was flooded. Himachal was flooded. People, want to move out and be with nature. People are talking about how do we say it? Like, लोग अभी अच्छी बातें कर रहे हैं, नेचर से रिलेटेड बातें कर रहे हैं जो पहले नहीं होती थी. So I definitely feel it is a life lesson and hope कि ये ऐसे ही चलती रहे, मतलब लोग इसको सीख के ही आगे बढ़े, वापस वहीं वापस ना पहुंच जाए जहाँ से शुरू हुए थे.
Yeah, I mean, for me, it was like it was like a filter, One of the things, I just, as he was talking, I kind of realized that, for me, I kind of, मुझे एक बात समझ आ गई कि मेरी जिंदगी में ऐसा क्या है जो बहुत जरूरी है, जिसके बिना मैं काम जी नहीं सकता, और वो चीजें समझ आने लगी. Because the mind used to wander a lot. मैं ये भी करूँ, वो भी करूँ, यहाँ भी जाऊँ, ऐसा भी करूँ. So, you kind of come close to the basics. And I kind of realized what the basics and what I essentially need, what feeds me. I was, yeah, I mean, so to me, it was like, just like you got to be sort of, what's most important during this time is your sanity, and like do whatever keeps your mind healthy. Don't worry too much about hitting the gym and like pumping iron and all those things. So I was doing everything and things that I wanted to, like I started out as a dancer, and I used to work with a dance company, and got back to that before I worked on stage. I curse myself all the time that you call yourself an actor and you haven't read enough Shakespeare. So I was doing that, reading a lot of Shakespeare, a lot of things that really feeds an actor, which is, I feel like it feeds my soul. Some good stuff, just coming up with. So working on the craft is actually something that always gives me a lot of pleasure. So different works differently for different people. A lot of my friends think that it's a little boring. Like, you're so boring reading, acting all the time. That's all goes on in your head. But hey, you know what? That's like watering my breath. I mean, it's something that it's just something that keeps me going, it motivates me, excites me. Uh, so I was doing all of that until you had a pretty well, we both were part of it. Patandok released, and well, that kind of got me occupied for a while. That changed things. I mean, it's a big milestone, I have to say. In a way, it changed my life. And then the apartment comes, and it's kind of uh, unpaused is like uh, a thing where you kind of, it just took me to my back to it's a story about hope. It's a story about new beginnings and all of those things, basic human feelings, how you were going through. So it's not always been like hunky dory. Like, the lockdown has been very difficult. It's been phases where I've some of the most difficult times of my life. I mean, I've experienced certain things that I don't know how to fight it, but I did. And while I was reading the script, there was this sort of an introspection going on, and there was this voice, voice. Because when you kind of need hope, कभी आपको बाहर से मिलती है, कभी आप लोगों को देते हैं, लेकिन ये कि अंदर की जो एक ताकत होती है, वो चीज मैंने realize की, जो मुझे started talking to me that you know what, man, you're not that weak. You've done this, you've been through that, you've been through all of this. So don't give up, okay? Just keep fighting. It's just this thing which is so powerful, and it just made sense.
Lockdown, I mean, this entire situation, I think gave us a mini lesson of survival instincts. Yeah. हम लोग हमेशा बात करते हैं survival instinct की, but actually हमने कभी face किया नहीं होता है. And this, I think, इससे हम लोग, I hope that we all will be stronger human beings henceforth.
Yes.
Both of you are part of different segments of Unpaused. What do you hope the audience takes away from your respective films?
I don't know. I've not thought about it like that. I don't know what Avinash wants and what he wants the audience to take away. I think they will take away anyway jo unko man karega, because audience always has their own eyes, and that's how you say that a film, the way it's made or anything which is made, can be interpreted in many ways. And the audience can interpret the same story differently. But if you ask me personally, now that you've asked the question, maybe I will want them to take back hope, as the theme is that even though we are sympathizing with a family which is of course of migrant laborers, and we think that they are going to be bhukha, pyasa, or उनके पास पैसे नहीं होंगे, वो सड़क से कैसे चल रहे हैं, पर वो कर रहे हैं और वो अपने परिवार के साथ कर रहे हैं, and they are united, and they are very much affectionate towards each other. They are going through the hardships, and of course it's very, very difficult, but they are also human beings and they know how to survive. उन पे दया मत करो. I think ये sympathy और दया से क्या हो जाता है ना, हम लोग एक facade create कर देते हैं हमारे आसपास कि वो अलग है, हम अलग है. नहीं, I think that has to be, that is what I want from the film. Yeah, the audience needs to understand that they're a human being. That's a father, that's a mother, and that's a child. Nothing else.
Beautiful, absolutely. Yeah, well, all of that, and I can add to.
आपकी फिल्म तो देखी नहीं है, वो देखूंगा 18 को.
So yeah, it's not singular, anything जो just human emotion से related कोई भी चीज होती है, जज्बातों से जिसका ताल्लुक होता है, वो it's not singular, it's just kind of exactly my point that it's multi colored, multi-valence, it's not a singular thing. And when it's not something which is open to interpretation, it's abstract, it's kind of got these layers. Basically, to make it simple, is that वो उसको जज्बातों से जिसका ताल्लुक होता है, उसकी कड़ियाँ हर आदमी से अलग तरीके से जुड़ेंगी, जो उसको अपने प्रिज्म से, अपनी लेंस से देखेंगे. तो ये तो पक्की बात है कि लोग उससे जुड़ेंगे, कनेक्ट होंगे, because of the basic premise of this show, right? We've all been through all of this, and we've been kind of in the lockdown. We've all had time to introspect, self-reflect, and these stories, आपकी कुछ आसपास के लोगों में आपने देखी होगी, कुछ आपके साथ हुआ होगा, आपने पढ़ा होगा. तो it's amazing, how this medium changes, and sometimes people argue कुछ नहीं होगा, सिनेमा सिर्फ entertainment होता है या फिर उसमें आप चीजों को बदलता नहीं. But I've seen people, really, I mean, it's affected me so many times. It changes me, it changes my outlook, and I hope this message of kind of whether where he spoke about migrant laborers and all these things. I mean, these humane. I think it's a humane story, because all of this comes out. How I would sort of want it to sort of affect me is that I kind of want to see things, people for who they are, for the human, as human beings, not as a certain sort of thing, how we kind of often compartmentalize people on basic criteria, certain criteria, caste, class, religion, sexuality, all of that.
Another common link between all of the films is the theme of hardship, from what I understood. Uh, Both of you have gone through your share of struggles in the industry. It hasn't been instant success for either of you. Did you draw from your own experiences, in terms of the creative process while rehearsing, while prepping, while getting into the character for these before the shoot?
I don't know. I mean, I was not able to relate with my character for sure. Like मैं बहुत दूर से देख रहा था. Of course, you've been with them, and I have had laborers who have come home and they've spent like 15, 20, 15-20 दिन रहते हैं घर पे. क्योंकि जब काम हो रहा होता है तो they come every day and they do their stuff and then they go and you're in the other room. So you have this interaction. You start talking to them. You maybe sometimes sit with them, and I've done that. I've sat with them and eaten food. Uh, उनके बारे में थोड़ी सी बात कर लेना and things like that. But no, I don't know how it is to be a migrant labor. I did not know that, and it would have been very difficult for me to even understand that, because मुझे पता है कि वो मैं एक बहुत ही fortunate जगह से मैं उनको देख रहा हूँ. I'm looking at them from a very very relaxed and very जिसे कहते हैं peaceful life. एंड आई डोंट नो हाउ डू दे फाइंड दैट पीस. तो मुझे वो ढूंढना था. मुझे ये ढूंढना था कि लॉकडाउन में अगर इतनी सारी चीजों के बावजूद मैं अपने बॉम्बे के फ्लैट में बैठ के टेंशन ले रहा हूँ और मेरा सर फट रहा है या आई एम गोइंग क्रेजी, हाउ आर दे मैनेजिंग इट? So that was a big question in my head. And as I said, that I spoke to a carpenter, and I spoke to him, asking like, how did he leave the city and stuff like that. And he was in high spirits. He was always quite, जिसे कहते हैं कि मतलब बड़ी खुशी से उसने बोला कि हाँ सर मैं पहुंच गया सर, ट्रक में किसी तरह से घुस के पहुंच गया, और उसको मजा भी आ रहा था. It was like an adventure for him. And then suddenly I started realizing what I was scared of was actually an adrenal rush for somebody else. And that person has reached, वो अपने गांव जाके अपनी बीवी के साथ रह रहा है, बच्चे के साथ रह रहा है, बड़ा खुश है कि सर बड़ा मौज आ रहा है, बड़ा मौज आ रहा है. बहुत टाइम बाद I'm like, he was getting to spend time with his family and his kid. And about money, money, पैसे को हम बहुत बड़ा बना देते हैं कभी कभार. और वो जब मैंने पैसे की बात पूछी तो उसने बोला सर जुगाड़ कर रहे हैं. Now that was the key word for me for the character. तो थ्रू आउट द फिल्म जब आप देखेंगे तो वो बंदा जुगाड़ कर रहा है, वो कोई ना कोई जुगाड़ कर रहा है. ही इज ट्राइंग टू फिगर आउट अ वे टू लिव. और मुझे ऐसा लगता है कि हिंदुस्तान में ये बहुत चलता है, चाहे पैसा हो ना हो, you can live your life through jugaad, and that's the beauty of this entire force of survival instincts.
Yeah, well, personal struggles. It's performing arts ki to I think this is like probably, as the saying goes, trauma is the beginning of talent, I guess. So trauma sometimes, fortunately, ये हमारी आर्ट की कहीं ना कहीं थोड़ी बदकिस्मती कहूँगा कि the trauma helps. Or to me, the thing is that it's nothing's more powerful than when kind of something comes from within. And yeah, of course, when you I always kind of see things from like outside, holistically, talking to people who are kind of right there, have been in that situation. And जब मैं बात कर रहा होता हूँ उन लोगों से और समझ आ रही होती है कि उनकी कहानी, to understand my character, whoever's in those in that situation, it just somewhere it kind of starts connecting to my life, in the sense that if I widen the horizon, मैं उसका दायरा बड़ा करके देखूं, मुझे ये चीज रियलाइज होती है कि जो ये बात कह रहा है वो कहीं ना कहीं मेरी लाइफ, जिंदगी इससे बहुत परे है, लेकिन ये तो मेरे से भी जुड़ रही है इस लेवल पे. So I've found that kind of connect as I kind of started talking to people, started thinking about it, reading it, about the issue of, what's going on in my story. And I realized that it's about, the thing is that the beautiful thing for me was like, it took me to a memory lane where I saw myself in a situation where, someone like my mom, she would always get to know whenever I'm like a little let down, right from the time I was a kid. It's amazing. She would just pop up. whether a phone call, even when I was in the, I was in the same country, she'd call me up, and तो जब मैं ये चीज कर रहा था, मैंने कहा, that is when it struck me, and I realized how she's been silently just there for me all throughout. Can you imagine this person just gets to know, and what is this connection? We think we know everything, but I think the human mind, we all wired so differently on a sort of a subconscious level, that and it cannot be a coincidence. It is something more than that, something deeper. It's inspired me to sort of reach out to people I really care about. And I've been doing that. It made me realize the times I was doing that. So that kind of made me feel good about myself. I'm not such a bad person after all. और कुछ ना कुछ आपके अंदर भी होता है. एक सबसे बड़ी चीज जो मैंने realize की कि आपके अंदर एक, there's a strength that you have, which is something that came out during the lockdown, and that's like that inner voice. Literally a beautiful sort of a thing which just kind of gives you answers. When I used to read this, when I used to kind of do the thing in my head, when I'd be sort of, working on the lines and sort of let it float in my subconscious, it would just talk to me, it would answer questions, it would say things that, this is what it is. What is that thing? It's something very, बहुत ही आपकी personal experiences, वो एक बहुत ही personal चीज है, internal चीज है. So definitely, it kind of, these are the connections that I found, which were pretty amazing, I must say.
Thank you so much for your time. Bye bye.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Samruddhi.
Thank you
Thank
so
you
much.
so much.